Top 13 Unrealistic Creatures That Actually Exist. Human imagination has created mythical beasts for centuries and centuries, but the creatures that do live on Earth are even more amazing than the legends. Here are just some of those magnificent creatures, both big and small, that look just too crazy to be real. Tardigrades. We'll start out small, because tardigrades are just mind-blowingly impressive. They can survive in some of the most hellish environments you can imagine, temperatures of only a few degrees above absolute zero, and withstand pressures higher than the deepest depths of the ocean. They can survive without any water for up to 10 years and can live through very high levels of nuclear radiation. They're really good at surviving. Sure, you might say, but there are other bacteria that can also do this. Well, bacteria are single-celled creatures, whereas tardigrades are complex, multicellular creatures. They have a tubular mouth armed with stylets used to pierce plant cells, algae or small invertebrates, and 4 pairs of stubby legs. They even have a brain, or rather a cluster of neurons. As far as complex creatures go, tardigrades are the ultimate survivor. Anglerfish. When your name means you're a fisherman fish, something's definitely strange. Most species of anglerfish are deep-sea dwellers, which means they live at incredible depths, thriving in the abyssal oceans. They typically have one long filament sprouting from the middle of their heads, which they wiggle to resemble a smaller creature and bait an unsuspecting fish. But as if that weren't strange enough, scientists were at one point surprised that they didn't find any male anglerfish, and all the females seemed to have a strange parasite. After a while, they realized that the parasite was actually a male, attached to a female and surviving only to fertilize the female when she is ready to spawn. The Theii. Strange creatures aren't just tiny or marine. The Theii is one of the strangest things I've ever seen. Exclusively found in the northeastern parts of Madagascar, these peculiarly looking primates have big eyes and slender, long fingers, with a much larger middle finger used for finding insect larvae under tree bark. Unfortunately, due to their bizarre appearance, ancient legends of Malagasy considered them to be a very bad omen and usually killed them on sight. For this reason, fewer than 1,000 specimens still remain in the wild. The species is now protected, however. Umbonia spinosa. The thorn bug, or Umbonia spinosa to be specific, is an occasional pest of ornamentals and fruit trees in southern Florida. During heavy infestations, nymphs and adults form dense clusters around the twigs, branches, and even small tree trunks. Some hosts that have been severely damaged include Hibiscus sp. Powderpuff Calliandra spp, woman's tongue tree Albizia lebec, and Acacia spp. Young trees of Jacaranda acutifolia, and Royal Poinciana Delonix regia, with a diameter of 1.5 to 2 inches, have been killed by thorn bugs in the Tampa area. The trunks were so heavily infested that it was difficult to place a finger anywhere on the trunk without touching a specimen. The thorn bug causes damage by piercing the plant tissue and sucking the sap, and by making cuts in the plant for oviposition. Butcher, 1953, reported that certain trees, especially some cassias, suffered considerable loss of foliage, and that Pithicellobium suffered general and extensive terminal twig death. He also mentioned that thorn bug honeydew secretions and accompanying sooty mold development caused a nuisance to homeowners. Coudert, 1958, noted that heavy accumulations of honeydew sometimes occurred on parked automobiles. This thorn bug has been found throughout South and Central America, Mexico, and southern Florida. The Van Duzy, 1917, records of Umbonia crassicornis in Ohio and South Carolina are puzzling. At best, these would seem to be accidental introductions in which no natural populations were maintained. In Florida, as of 1962, no thorn bugs were collected north of Winter Haven or south of Florida City, according to Division of Plant Industry and University of Florida Agricultural Experiment Station records. Yeti crab. Crabs are a strange bunch themselves, but the Yeti crab has to take the crown. Discovered only in 2005, the species is only 15 centimeters long and is notable for the sheer quantity of silky blonde setae, resembling fur, covering its paraiopods, thoracic legs, including claws. It lives in the very south of the Pacific Ocean, has very small eyes that lack pigment, and is thought to be blind, or almost blind. It lives in a very particular environment, on the bottom of the ocean, close to hydrothermal vents. The hairy pincers contain filamentous bacteria, which the creature may use to detoxify poisonous minerals from the water emitted by the hydrothermal vents where it lives. Saiga antelope. They were once ubiquitous in the European steppes, but now, they've almost been hunted to extinction. At the beginning of the 18th century, it was still distributed from the shores of the Black Sea, but today, its habitat has greatly shrunk. The Saiga antelope is a critically endangered species that originally inhabited a vast area of the Eurasian steppe zone from the foothills of the Carpathian Mountains all the way to Mongolia. Even today, the species continues to decline. The horn of the Saiga antelope is used in traditional Chinese medicine and can sell for as much as $150, which is why the species is hunted extensively. Starnosed mole. Star-nosed moles are one of the most distinctive types of mammal. Their noses are hairless and ringed by a unique star of 22 pink, fleshy tentacles. The star has 11 appendages per side that vary in length from 1 to 4 millimeters. This species ranges from 175 to 205 millimeters in total length and weighs between 35 and 75 grams. Like other moles, it has a stout, roughly cylindrical body with heavily built forelimbs, broad feet and large claws. Its hair is short, dense and coarser than that of other moles. The pelage is dark brown to black on the back and lighter brown underneath. During winter, the tail swells 3 to 4 times its normal diameter. Star-nosed moles are found in a variety of habitats with moist soil. Unlike other North American moles, Condylora cristata prefers areas of poor drainage, including both coniferous and deciduous forests, clearings, wet meadows, marshes and peatlands. Condylora cristata also inhabits the banks of streams, lakes and ponds, into which it ventures for food. Although it prefers wet areas, this species has been found in dry meadows as far as 400 meters from water. Condylora cristata can be found along the coast and is known from elevations up to 1676 m in the Great Smoky Mountains. Star-nosed moles appear to have only one mate each breeding season. Males and females are thought to pair up as early as autumn and remain together through the mating season in March and April. Little is known about how the star-nosed mole finds or attracts a mate. Star-nosed moles mate in the spring from about mid-March through April. Pregnancy lasts approximately 45 days, and young are born in late April through mid-June. Females produce 1 litter of offspring per year of between 2 and 7 young, though 5 is a typical litter size. If a female's first reproductive effort is unsuccessful, she may mate again, producing a litter as late as July. At birth, the young are hairless, the eyes and ears are closed and the tentacles of the star are folded back along the snout. The eyes, ears and star become functional after about 2 weeks. Young are independent at 30 days and reach maturity at 10 months. Lowland streaked Tenrec. After the II, we're back again in the Madagascar for a creature that's just as weird. The lowland streaked Tenrec is a strange mixture of hedgehog, shrew, mouse and even otter. If threatened by a predator, it erects the barbed quills on its back and on the crest around its head, pointing them completely forward and then moving towards the attacker. The non-barbed quills on the back are used to make a rattling sound to communicate with others. Teratopsis Dorni. This small creature might not look like much, but it is, from what we know, the only immortal animal in the world. Found in the Mediterranean Sea and in the waters of Japan, it can revert completely to a sexually immature, colonial stage after having reached sexual maturity as a solitary individual. According to studies conducted on it, it can do this indefinitely without any repercussions, becoming effectively immortal. Sparklamuffin and Skeletorus spiders. If you don't think of spiders as cute and cuddly, then you've never met Sparklamuffin and Skeletorus spider. Scientists have identified these 2 new species of peacock spiders in various parts of eastern Australia. Less than a quarter-inch long 5 millimeters, male peacock spiders are known for their bright colors and a rolling shaking mating dance that would make Miley Cyrus jealous. Skeletorus muratus skeletus got its name from the white markings on the male's dark limbs, which give them the look of a skeleton. Sparklamuffin was the pet name Maddie Gerard, a Ph.D. student at the University of California, Berkeley, gave Muratus jactatus, which has blue and red stripes on its midsection. These new spiders are spectacular. It's a mind-blowing find, says arachnologist Damian Elias of the University of California, Berkeley, who was not involved in the research. The 53 named species of Muratus spider are found only in Australia, but photographer Jürgen Otto, who has helped to discover 20 new species of peacock spider in the past 4 years, believes that many others are just waiting to be described. The diversity of these spiders is enormous, and new ones keep coming up, Otto says. Peacock spiders are a type of jumping spider, related to common jumpers you may have seen yourself. Jumping spiders don't weave silken webs to catch prey, but instead hunt and stalk their prey. Their eyesight is incredible, they can see as good as cats can, says Elias. Gerard traveled to Australia to study peacock spiders' flashy mating behavior with her friend Eddie King. Gerard and King were working in southeastern Queensland when they spotted 2 new species of peacock spider. Otto discovered Muratus elephants on a trip to a Sydney museum, where he searched through specimens that had been donated to the museum. After just a few hours of work, he discovered a peacock spider with what looked like a picture of an elephant on the flaps covering its backside. Although scientists first discovered peacock spiders in the 1800s, they went virtually unstudied after a series of papers in the late 1950s, Otto explained. Some scientists have said that the spider's small size may explain the lack of research, but Otto isn't convinced. They're big compared to the mites I'm used to seeing, says Otto, who works for the Australian Department of Agriculture inspecting goods imported into the country. It's just a matter of perspective. With so few professional scientists working on peacock spiders, Otto says that amateur naturalists and photographers are likely to be the ones discovering new species. It appears to be high time that Sparklemuffin got some new friends. The bubble-eye goldfish are incredibly recognizable. They have an oversized bubble under each of their eyes, hence their name. This striking feature has been bred into the fish over many generations. Their unique appearance has made them increasingly popular for those that want something a little different. However, these fish are not as easy to keep as some others. Their unique bubble feature means they require a bit of extra care and handling. The bubble-eye goldfish is a unique goldfish breed. While they generally look like most other goldfish, they do have one distinguishing feature: their large bubbles. They are a member of the fancy goldfish family in many ways, though. They act and look similar to most of their family breeds. You cannot miss their eye bubbles, though. This is the main reason they are becoming increasingly popular. If you want an eye-catching fish, you can hardly beat this one. Dumbo octopus were staying in the oceans for the next one. They may look cute, but they're extremely resilient. The Dumbo octopus lives at extreme depths of 3,000 to 4,000 meters, 9,800 to 13,100 feet, with some living up to 7,000 meters, 23,000 feet below sea level. The largest Dumbo octopus ever recorded was 1.8 meters, 5.9 feet, in length and weighed 5.9 kilograms, 13 pounds, but average specimens rarely go over 30 centimeters. Gobi Jerboa. This species of rodent is found in the deserts and grasslands of China and Mongolia. The very long tail helps its very long legs run even faster, and despite not visible in this picture, their ears are generally extremely large, even larger than their heads. The big ears not only allow them to hear better, but are efficient at dissipating heat, a much needed attribute in the hot deserts. Thank you for watching.